Who knows what Jay-Z, J.K. Rowling, Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey all have in common? Okay, I will tell you then. They have all overcome failure in one shape or form to go on to gain success in their respective careers. Welcome to My Perfect Failure. Join us as we delve into the world of our perfect failures. We will interview, explore, and discuss how our perfect failures can lead us to success. Join us and tune in.
Welcome everybody to another episode of My Perfect Failure. Today we have another fantastic guest. So my guest today is currently living in Baltimore, working on a revolutionary new social media app called Clava that is allowing creatives to go live to an exclusive 1,000 fans and to get paid for it. On his time off, he can either be found playing or watching basketball, learning how to code even more than he currently does. Additional pastimes include practicing, designing, and learning new techniques to further develop his many skill sets. One fun fact about my guest today is that he's never cried cutting onions. So a very warm welcome to My Perfect Failure, AJ Picard.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Hey,
for having me.
how you doing, AJ?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited.
Good. So I was thinking about your fun fact. Is that because you've never used onions?
No. My fiance cooks all the time, and she always has me cut the onions because I'm crying.
Okay. All right then. So I don't think I've ever cried. To be honest, I don't cook that much, I've got to confess, but I have had that water in your eyes when sometimes you think you can tough it out.
Yeah, you like feel it.
You can't, never quite works.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So AJ, thanks for putting some time aside today, because you're a busy guy. You've got lots going on. You're an entrepreneur with an exciting project, Clava, which we're going to get into. But I'm keen. So today's episode is called How to Stay on Course as an Entrepreneur, because everybody knows that entrepreneur's life is, I guess entrepreneurs know it more than anybody, that it's not easy. There's a lot of stumbling blocks and challenges that you have to navigate. But a lot of people that aren't entrepreneurs, they see the gloss, the apples and the clubhouses and all these different, Airbnb, all these different platforms that have suddenly blown and they're there. But there's obviously a lot behind the scenes challenges that have led to those really wonderful moments. So it'd be good maybe to start from the beginning to get the AJ story.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll try to condense it. But so in growing up, my father, was super involved in technology, Apple. It was kind of in the 90s, so technology was just becoming a thing, and I was around it. And I just became super attached to the Apple brand, and constantly followed them, was constantly getting their products growing up. And then they rolled out the App Store, and in 2008. And then I was obviously playing basketball my whole life. And then when I hit college, I was also playing basketball, and I started my senior year trying to think of what I wanted to do after college. And I saw how passionate I was about just the mobile app industry, Apple, and where that was going. And I was also playing a ton of video games at the time. And at that time, for you gamers out there, we were waiting on a magazine called Game Informer that was telling you about new games that just came out, or new games that were coming out for the consoles you owned. And so I decided to create an app that did pretty much the exact same thing they were doing, just in a digital form. I was able to raise some money from family and friends, and I pushed that for like 2 or 3 years, got about like 10,000 users in there, and just really unfortunately had to shut it down because I was funding it myself, and I was just fresh out of college, so I didn't have all the funds. And I also wasn't really educated on how to monetize off an app and how to make money. So once I shut that down, around the same time, I tried to go overseas to play basketball, didn't make that, came back home, took about a month off. And then my stepmom was like, hey, you should just try, a sales job, see if you can sell, if you're really trying to, do your own thing or become an entrepreneur. I was like, okay, yeah, definitely. So I joined her company selling audiovisual equipment. First year, first 6 months was a little rough. And then I started getting the hang of things and ended up finishing the year strong. And then that second year, I did really well with my quota. And at the end of that year, I decided, I'm just gonna just quit and go full time and just, be an entrepreneur because I thought I had this idea, this app idea, this new app idea. And my father left me a little life insurance fund before he passed away. So I took that out and was able to go full time as an entrepreneur, pushing the first version of Clava, which was a location based chat app. And you would be the goal would be you'd be able to join a food court that you're at a mall and connect with people, and that's just in that exact food court as you. And then we launched after fast forward the end of 2018, we launched the MVP first version, and that early in 2019, 2 months in, we had about 1,000 users, getting a ton of traction, and then our servers got hacked and set us back a ton. And then my original co-founders that built the product unfortunately left me as well because they were also coders by day, and then they were coming home working on Clava, so it was just getting a lot. And ended up then I guess 3 or 4 months after we got hacked, got accepted into an accelerator program. And during that accelerator program, I got humbled, we could say, because when I went on this journey, I thought it was going to be very easy to, raise the funds that I needed and to move on and build this product. But they really educated me on, funding, building your business around becoming an actual business and not having to focus on funding, because if you're building a business that is focusing around funding, you have a way higher chance of failing. And so after that, I actually went into another accelerator program and, did a demo day at both programs, ended up not getting any investment. And fast forward to 2020, I found another developer to come on board to help me out. We pushed an update for Clava that I was hoping would definitely give us more traction than it did, and then COVID hit. And so what what I was expecting was, with this new update, it actually would allow businesses to promote in Clava, where since we were tracking user location, anytime they would pass by a business that was promoting Clava, Clava would send them a notification, pretty much saying like, hey, this coffee shop you passed by is having 10% off coffee. So I was just trying to create this like hyper local social app. It was becoming super hard, and then COVID hit, and that destroyed that vision. So I was running out of funds and ended up just selling my car to buy me some more time. And then at the same time, throughout this journey, I was kind of learning how to design, dabbing into learning how to code. And a lot of my friends started asking me like, hey, can you design my website, design my app, can you build my website, build my app? And so I actually rekindled with the original Clava co-founder. And what we decided to do was open up our own little development studio and start building these apps and websites so that we could obviously continue to do what we wanted to do, which is work for ourselves. And for me, it was to buy me time and to fund Clava. So all 2020 was really just, developing other people's products, me developing more knowledge around coding, because up until 2020, I did not do any type of work on Clava. I was really just selling and doing a lot of business development stuff. And I wanted to be more in the dirt, more in the, skin in the game, and just really creating the product myself with my other developers. So in 2020, that's when my buddy and I, discovered a new vision for it. And we saw where influencers were going. We were trying to figure out a more digital focused app where, focused around live videos and interaction instead of hyper local stuff because of COVID. And we came up with a new vision that, we saw that no platforms were allowing influencers to go live to a specific amount of people. And more importantly, no platforms were really out there paying these influencers for their time. Obviously, they have Patreon out there and OnlyFans, but nothing around this cool live exclusive event, digital event. So 2020 was a lot of learning, and then near the end of 2020, we started developing this new vision for Clava, and now we fast forward to today. We have about 60 influencers ready to use the product. We have a venture capital firm behind us. Once we launch, that will be promoting the product and driving to influencers and users in there to prove the business model. And if all works, we'll be able to raise that round of funding that we need to bring everyone on full time. And last but not least, we're submitting today, March 10th. So we're just crossing our fingers that Apple approves us and we can get the ball rolling on this. And that's it.
My fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. You've been through a journey.
Mhm.
You've been so can I quickly ask, on the basketball front, what country did you come to in Europe?
Okay, so I came to London. I went to Iceland and Norway.
Wow. So were you playing in all these different countries initially?
Yep. So it's a bunch of tryouts. I mean, I was playing people that I used to watch in high school that were Division I athletes that were still playing overseas. So it was kind of humbling and to see all that. And in fact, the point is, when as a newcomer coming in, as you can only have 2 citizens on a team overseas, and if they really look at the potential of the player, where I'm going up against a 6'6", 6'8" guy, and if he has 20 points and I have 20 points, well, they're looking at it as he's the same as the American we already have. So it's a lot of like trying to really prove that I can play on this level. And I did get one offer. It's just the money. I was like, I'm not playing for this amount of money. I was starting to shift my focus from basketball to really wanting to make money.
But what an experience to come overseas, 3 different countries, meet different people, different cultures, play. I'm presuming basketball is your number one sport. To play your number one sport, how many people will get to do that?
Oh no, I mean, I have no regrets. I mean, it was the views you saw, the people you saw, and just it was just humbling, man. Just being able to open your eyes to how hard it is to play overseas, and then more importantly, realizing that this might not be the right move for me right now.
Yeah,
and just wanted to get on with my life. Okay,
brought you back to the States. So life as an entrepreneur is, we sort of alluded to at the start of this episode, is notoriously choppy and challenging. So were there other entrepreneurs in your family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad was, my mom was, and then my stepmom as well was an entrepreneur.
So you've kind of got the gene in your family. So everybody.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think it was more, I think entrepreneurs are definitely naturally born, but I also think if you're surrounded by that environment, you also kind of start becoming one as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was always around it, and I saw the freedom it brought, and it's always inspired me.
I was going to ask you what you like about being an entrepreneur. Is that part of it, the freedom that this?
That is the main part. For me, I mean, it's different for others. It's just not the financial freedom, but the freedom to, set your own schedule, work whenever you want, build things, build products, build businesses, and being at the top. I mean, just on the basketball court, I was a point guard, so I was kind of leading, managing and leading the team and getting everyone in their spots. And that just is kind of the same way I handle business as well. It's just something that I really, really like doing.
Yeah. And just gauging by some of what you've said so far, it seems to me that you need to have, as an entrepreneur, quite a lot of resilience. How important has that been to you?
Yeah. Resilience is very important. I honestly think, to me, I obviously have natural resilience in my opinion, but I think what's really helped me push through is the passion part. Being passionate about building a product, that's going to work. And that's what's continued to just drive me to increase this runway as long as I can.
Yeah. And in terms of that passion, is it important that when you're connecting with different people, because obviously you've got partners and you're going to have employees, and there's potentially been people that have jumped into the project but maybe that are not still with you, how important, how what lessons have you learned around ensuring that you have the right people that are a part of your journey?
Yeah, so I learned I learned a lot over the past 2 or 3 years, and the most important thing is when you're thinking about bringing someone onto your team, especially if you're looking for a developer or a designer, those types of fields take a lot of time to build or design whatever you want them to build or design. So you need to make sure that they're as passionate
Mm.
about the product as you are. And that's what I really focused on this past year, is getting a team around me that is just as passionate about what we're doing. Because if you get that, they will work for free because you're working for free,
Mm.
but they will put in, that extra mile to make sure that this product that they're passionate about is going to get to where it needs to be. If you're just finding people off the streets just because they're a developer or designer, you're not going to get the same end
Yeah.
result, because it takes time. And you have to have people that want to work on this product,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And like, so do you have to see the glint in their eye and sort of see the, the enthusiasms, the sort of questions they're asking you, are they texting you about this, that, and the other? Do they get excited about something, or indeed do they get disappointed about something if it doesn't go wrong? What sort of things do you look for to make sure that they're just not faking it?
Yeah, so on the call, obviously it's hard to read people, but I try to read if they have that aha moment when
Mm.
I'm giving the pitch around the product. But then I always give them, at least a month, especially developer, at least a month to see their effort and their passion around what I'm doing. Because, if they're doing the work, the results will show,
Yeah.
and I'm not here to micromanage. I'm not here to constantly ask you like what's going on. Because I feel if you're passionate about it, you're going to get the job done,
Yeah.
and if you're not, then we go separate ways. And I always am transparent with them during the interview or when we're thinking about bringing more people on. And I always try to communicate, transparency is the most important thing, because without that, you're going to be wasting each other's time with what you're trying to do. And, I tell them, look, I'll give you a month. We'll do this trial run. And if it works out, great. You continue move forward. But if not, no hard feelings. You can go your separate ways. And I'm letting you know right now that's probably happened 20, 25 times at
Mm.
least.
Yeah.
And had about, developer wise, 3 people that have been
Really?
passionate. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. It's difficult to find that. So,
Very
but
difficult.
I guess that everything's a learning curve, right? We learn because nobody's perfect, so we learn from experience. That's why we have experience, so we can learn from it. So from your perspective, what have you learned about yourself during this journey today?
I think the number one thing is that I trust people from day one. For some reason, I always see that I always feel like everyone that I'm talking to is telling the truth or is a good person and has good morals. And unfortunately, I don't know why I'm like that, but unfortunately, sometimes this is not the case.
Mm.
And that's why the whole interviewing thing is difficult, because people can put on this fake persona. And my thing is, I really want to get to know you as a person, and I want to, because then that way I can gauge how we can work together.
Mm.
And to me, it's definitely, not everything for granted, but not assuming just everything people are telling you is, what they're going to do. It's more about action and results than anything. So I'm trying to taught myself to, hey, if that interview went great, that's awesome. It's great news. But now it's time to see what happens in, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
If how I felt is true,
Mm. Put some markers down so you can reassess maybe a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks down the line to see whether they still have that passion. I was talking previously or recently to a lady similarly in America, and she talked about the benefit of sort of networking with other entrepreneurs because it can be quite
Yeah.
lonely, particularly if you're the founder and you have that vision. Sometimes it can be lonely. So what she's found, particularly during the pandemic, because her business was pretty much decimated by the pandemic, but she turned it around. And how she turned it around was by collaborating with other entrepreneurs, founders that potentially were definitely not in her sector, but are able just to sort of say little things that tweaked different thoughts that she would never even considered. Is that something that you do or have thought of?
So I have not forced myself or made myself go network with entrepreneurs, but what I can say is when I was at this co-working space, I was donating my time just to get in front of people, to potentially, build their websites or apps,
Mm.
because obviously need money. I actually met an individual, his name's AJ as well, and we actually just hit it off, and he's an entrepreneur. And he's actually the individual that helped shape this new vision for Clava.
Okay.
And so we've really connected on that level, and are obviously always bouncing ideas off each other. He's actually an advisor for Clava. And, when it comes, I think to me, I don't think you can force, the networking part with, entrepreneurs. To me, that's just my opinion. To me, I'm more all about the actual personal connection and the vibe with that individual. And, getting along with that other entrepreneur I'd rather have one person that I'm really close with or connecting with that's an entrepreneur and a friend than having like 15 entrepreneurs that I can go to. That's just how I work.
Okay.
It's different for everyone, but
Yeah. I get your point. If you've got too many, then
Mhm.
potentially if you've got too many ears, it can become a little bit confusing. Something that I remember we had a previous conversation for
Mhm.
those watching and listening, and something that's stuck in my memory is, forgive me if I've got the wrong coffee shop, but you were in Starbucks
Mhm.
and you needed somebody. I love this because it really typifies the creativity of
Yeah.
an entrepreneur. So I'll let you fill the blanks.
Yeah. So at that time, I was in the accelerator program, and demo day was about um, a month and a half away, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Didn't have a product, and going through the program, the number one thing, obviously, for fundraising and to get the traction you need is you have to have a product. Ideas are great, but without an actual idea becoming reality, it's still just an idea. So when I was going to Starbucks every day because I didn't want to work out at my house, and I didn't have a co-working spot. And so literally every day I was looking at people's computers when they were just sitting there in Starbucks. And this was pre-COVID when things were normal. And so when I was in Cockeysville, Maryland, there was a Starbucks next to my girlfriend's mom's house. I walked in, and this individual, his screen was facing a wall that was leading to the bathroom. So I pretty much checked everyone else's screen in the Starbucks store. I think there was like 4 or 5 other people. And then I didn't check his yet. So I just like went behind him to go to the bathroom, and I saw he was coding. So I went to the bathroom, didn't even go to the bathroom. I just acted like it did, came back out. And I just went up to him. I was like, hey man, like I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're a coder. I'm developing a school product, would love to kind of pitch you, see if you're interested. And he was like, yeah, definitely, take my number down. Took his number down. I texted him, told him some stuff about the product, what we're trying to do. We met the next day. He ended up saying like, hey, I would love to help build this. Can I bring my good friend on board to help? I was like, yeah, no problem. And then he brought his good friend, and his friend was a front end developer, and he was a back end guy. So it was like a yin and yang. And they got the product out for demo day, and they were the two original co-founders of Clava. And now his friend is actually still with me today as a co-founder in Clava. So it ended up working out. It's crazy.
I love that story because it just shows, you can do that for people
Yeah.
listening. They might need somebody.
Mhm.
Obviously now, COVID, I'm not sure what the situation's like in the US and in the UK right now, as we're talking now. coffee shops aren't open, but when those coffee shops open, if you're looking for a developer, he might be in Starbucks.
They love coffee. They're always there.
Yeah. So just discreetly look at their PCs. Don't
Yeah.
kind of like go too close. Just
Yeah,
just discreetly. Make sure you got your mask on as well.
exactly.
So accelerator program. You mentioned something previously about when you were speaking to getting advice around accelerator program. The guy gave you an advice about the way that you structure your business and the way where the focus should be. Can you just go back to that bit if you don't
Yeah.
mind?
So when I first, if you don't know about just fundraising or the startup world, it looks like raising funds is so easy because you're seeing so many news around, all these businesses getting funded. But in reality, 2.8%, I think it is, of startups get funded a year, which is
Really?
very low. Yeah, something
Yeah.
very low. And so I learned that through the accelerator program. And once I read that, the next couple of slides was this mentor telling us, like, this is why it's important to build a business as a business and not a business around funding,
Okay.
and that's what I was doing at the time. Flava was not going to make money right away, and it needed to build a community in order to get the fundraising we needed. And so going fast forward to the new vision, that's the main thing I wanted to do with this new pivot, which was not rely on building community and instead find a solution where we're an actual business and we make money right away. And
Yeah.
that's what we're doing.
Okay. So the chances of actually getting funding, because they're so small, if you focus totally on the accelerator program, it's not percentage probability wise,
Right.
you're going to be up against it because.
Correct. And on top of that, if you're relying on funds and you get the funds, congrats. But then your next problem is you're a ticking time bomb because now you have to figure out a way to make money to pay back the funds that you borrowed.
Yeah.
So, that's why you see a lot, like Clubhouse, prime example. They're not going to have an issue, obviously, but they haven't really rolled out a way to monetize.
Yeah.
They've been able to build a community, but they haven't been able to monetize yet. And that's what a lot of these social platforms do. They quickly build a massive community. They raise a ton of money, and then they find ways to start monetizing. I didn't want to do that. I want to do the opposite. I wanted to just maybe raise a round to help accelerate our development and our process. But during that process, we're making money so we could stay afloat on our own.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I get it. So just around like the life of an entrepreneur, clearly what you said today is that there's a lot of changing, to and throwing. There's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of encountering things that you potentially have had no previous experience of. So how do you deal with that element of it? Do you have fear, or do you just approach it as this is the process?
Had a lot of anxiety. I'll be completely transparent. Money goes out a lot quicker when you don't have any coming in. And so that was my main goal throughout the process, was trying to find any means of income that wasn't going to take a ton of my time away from what I was trying to do. And so, I was, charging these electric scooters out in Baltimore for money. I was working for my girlfriend's company, who was hosting little events, a couple hours here and there. And then that's why I started like designing websites, designing apps, so that I could obviously stay afloat and keep moving forward. So to me, it's really just making sure that, you're staying above water. And unfortunately, the past 3 years, I haven't been able to do what a lot of my friends been able to do, like go on a ton of vacations, go out whenever they want, go to fancy dinners, because it's obviously a massive sacrifice. But to me, I'm all about the long-term return, and in the long term, if this works out, I'll be, obviously better than where I'm at now.
Well, when it works out.
When it works out, yeah.
When it works out. And also, it's great that your friends are doing wonderful dinners and vacations and whatnot, but that you've got this amazing opportunity. You've got Clava, which isn't just about you, it's about the influencers, it's about the users, so there's an overarching thing that you wake up every day with this this sort of goal to I guess to advance beyond where you were the day before. So Clava, tell us about Clava. Tell us about where the idea originally came from and where you're going with it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to. So I was seeing this trend with influencers that they were all promoting the same products or same discounts. And I was also seeing a trend that the communities, since this was getting very repetitive, they were starting to get upset. They actually do get upset when their favorite creatives or influencers are promoting these products, because in reality, if you notice, a lot of these influencers are saying they're using the products, and some of them might be using some of the products, but they have to portray that they're using it so that they get you to buy it, right? And the community is starting to catch on to that stuff.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is figure out a way that they can make money for being themselves, but at the same time drive up like excitement and the exclusivity around their brand and who they are. And I know we have platforms like Patreon where you would subscribe to an influencer and you get exclusive content back a couple times throughout the month. But to me, I didn't want to go down that route. Instead, I saw this amazing opportunity with live videos, live streaming, where now that we're in COVID, everyone's fiending for that connection. It could be a more personal, exclusive connection with your favorite influencer on a live. And these lives wouldn't you wouldn't have to subscribe to an influencer per month. It would be on a per live basis. Whenever that influencer wants to go live, you can be one of 1,000, and then you're in that exclusive live where your friends might not have been able to get in time. And so that's what we really focused with in Clavo, is making these lives only available to 1,000 of these influencers fans. But then what we did was, when an influencer does go live, a user like me and you would have to purchase a time pass. These time passes are $15 for 15 minutes for 99 cents. You get 30 minutes for $1.99, and then 60 minutes for $2.99. So it's very cheap, very affordable. And let's just say I purchased this 15-minute pass for 99 cents, I'm able to join any exclusive live inside of Clava for a total of 15 minutes. So when I join a live and I'm in there for 5 minutes, it deducts 5 minutes from my account, and now I only have 10 minutes to use.
Okay.
So I can just join another one if I want to, but you always have to buy time in order to join these exclusive lives, and that's how we pay these influencers.
Oh, great. I didn't realize that. So you can kind of like navigate. So if I buy, I don't know, 50 minutes worth of time, I can navigate from one influencer to the next.
Yep. We're tracking how long you're in each influencer's live.
Yeah.
And then when the influencer ends their live, we get a report on how many total minutes from users that were in your live. So if you were in my live for 15 minutes and I ended it, our team would get a report that my live generated 15 minutes of time from users that joined. And then we just times that by the rate per minute that we've calculated, and that's the revenue that influencer gets, and then we obviously get a cut, and Apple gets a cut.
Okay, no wonder you've been spending time coding. You're spending time.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
I guess it's got to be a lot to be able to do what you guys are doing, because nobody else does it, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've had to find. Obviously, we have not built it from scratch. We found what they call APIs, pre-built features that we can just integrate and then kind of customize to save us time.
Yeah. Okay. And from an influencer's perspective, they get that intel as well, would they? So if they go live, say if I'm an influencer and I go live for 15 minutes, I can see how engaging people have been. Has AJ viewed my content for 5 minutes, or has it been
So what we have so far in the first, we are working on that, but what we have so far in the first version is you'll go live, and then people will be joining your live, and they can. It's just like a live on Instagram where you can just see everyone's
Okay.
chat,
Okay.
and then you can interact with them. And what we're trying to add after we are approved is the ability to see how many people are in your live, and then the ability to, you know, invite someone into the live video, so it can be like a one-on-one video conversation
Okay.
with be a fan. And then after that,
Oh,
we're going to
brilliant.
work on adding 2 to 3 visitors, so you could be an influencer and bring on 3 fans that are in your live to be on this video stream. But yeah, as of now, it's just basic live.
Okay. Okay. So that's great. So you can, if you're an influencer, you can bring a fan in so they can be part of it as well.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay. Okay.
Take it from there,
Okay. That's brilliant.
yeah, man.
So and you said sort of at the start as well that you've just submitted.
Hmm.
So you've just submitted. So fingers crossed.
Fingers
By the
crossed.
time this comes out, you'll be live
Yes,
on Apple.
yes.
And then there'd be a domino effect to the other directories.
That is correct. That is correct. Maybe, I mean, it depends when you release this, but Android could be out as well.
Okay. Cool. So and you've already started onboarding influencers as well. I think you said you've got about 60.
Yeah, we have about 60 of them. Mainly out of those 60, we focused on fitness influencers, beauty influencers, and then underground like artists and musicians. The fitness influencers, we see a need for them to create like these exclusive workouts that, you know, if they have the following on Instagram, they can drive up to 1,000 people into that exclusive workout. And the price point to entry to that exclusive workout is a lot cheaper than charging an individual $20-$30 to, you know, join a Zoom workout. You know, so you're looking for more quantity of users,
Yeah.
and then you'll make more money, obviously. And then the beauty the beauty influencers will be doing exclusive like makeup tutorials, beauty tips, whatever it may be. And then my favorite focus is the underground artists, musicians that will be able to host exclusive concerts.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, share exclusive music tracks that haven't been released yet, or them in the studio behind the scenes, you know, just stuff like that.
Yeah. I was just thinking actually around TEDx talks as well, because you know TEDx talks are around that same sort of time. If somebody's like a, I don't know, a
Okay.
writer or
Speaker.
a poet or whatever, they can, because 15 minutes is around the sort of optimum engagement time. So people could do that. Could use a
Yep.
platform for that.
There's so many ways we use Cloud. It's insane. We just had to really focus on 3 like small, like the influencer market, but then, you know, smaller individual markets so that we could prove this.
Yeah. And of course, you've got to get your basketball players on there as well.
We're working on some basketball trainers, which would be awesome. They could do an exclusive training session, you know what I mean? And we could watch them.
Absolutely. And I've got to ask this. It came into my head earlier, but it just went away. Who's your basketball team? Do you have a basketball team?
Yeah, I follow any team LeBron goes to.
Okay. So if he comes to Europe, it's going to be a European team.
I'm there front row.
Okay. All right then. And just on a basketball theme, it sounds like you've got that Michael Jordan type, the Last Dance, that mentality, because you know that mentality is, I guess, what entrepreneurs have to have. So he's a good role model.
Yeah, he definitely. If you want to talk about adversity and resilience, you know, go watch what he's been through, because I'm telling you right now, there has not been one other athlete, maybe one I can think of, that has been going through the hate and the abuse that he's gone through in the past 10 years.
Yeah. So he's someone that I'm fascinated by and look up to him. So just for entrepreneurs that are watching and listening to this now, that you know that they want to stay the course, what would your advice to those guys be?
You know, one thing, you know, Elon Musk always talks about entrepreneurship and how difficult it is. And one thing I want to encourage anyone that's thinking about doing it is to really look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you willing to go and do whatever it takes until you can't go any further? Because it is a long grind. I mean, I didn't make money for a year and a half, and I feel like I'm blessed because some entrepreneurs take longer than that. And now I have all my eggs in one basket with Flava, and it's risky. You have to be prepared to do it. You have to be prepared to go have great days and then a ton of bad days to start. And a lot of it is just going to be driven by your passion for what you're trying to do. And if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're not gonna be able to stay afloat. I'm telling you right now. So make sure you have that emotional connection to what you're doing.
Yeah. When you have those bad days, how do you snap yourself out of it? Do you think about the overall project? Do you think about, or do you have somebody that you speak to, or do you go for a walk? What are the little things that you do to sort of get yourself going?
I actually do 4 things. So first thing is I always talk to my fiance. I mean, she's been a huge rock for me. Like, I feel bad for, all the times I've come to her, having that positive mindset, it just helps. Number 2, if I'm still not feeling better after that, I will try to just go. I'm a huge walker, so I'll try to just go walk my dog and just listen to some music and just vibe out and calm down a little. Then number 3 would be to go straight play basketball. Something about being out there. It's just like I have no problems at all. Think about anything. I just have fun. And then after that, I usually start feeling better, and then I end it with just 10 minutes of meditation of just being alone and trying to get my mind back and just realizing like you're going to have a bad day, but tomorrow is just always better.
Okay. Wonderful advice for me and everybody else watching and listening. And Clava, obviously people are going to want to know how they can access it. What's the best way for them to find out what you're doing and keep up to speed with Clava?
Yeah, so definitely follow us. Clava's Instagram and Twitter. It's the same username. It's @_Clava_app. And you'll be seeing updates and content that way. And then you can always follow me on Twitter, which is PIC_K_A_card. So pick a card.
Okay.
I'll give you it so you can put it in the bio, but I'm always updating, doing updates. And obviously you can always go to our website, sign up for the newsletter, and we'll send you updates. But that's it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. So I'm not even keeping my fingers crossed because it will happen.
Okay, I like that.
I'm looking forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you featuring along Clubhouse in that sort of 2021. So I have a recurring question, which is, if you could invite 3 inspirational people for dinner, who would you invite?
Yeah, so first 2 are gonna be one's gonna be Steve Jobs, by far, my favorite idol. I mean, just everything he was able to do. I know he doesn't have the best reputation here and there, but the guy literally revolutionized this world if you think about it.
Yeah.
And number 2, it's a toss up between Drake and LeBron James. Drake's my favorite artist, and I appreciate how calculated every one of his moves are in the game. And it's not like he's just putting out music to put out music. He really calculates everything. And he's, more importantly, in the culture, he's always looking at underground artists, the next coming thing, always putting them on. And I respect that. And he's humble. And then LeBron James, definitely his resilience, his will to continue to play at an elite level at the age he's at. And last but not least, if I had another spot, it would probably be my dad, just to pick his brain and, just to have a conversation, honestly. And those are the people.
Yeah, no, great choice. That'd be a wonderful dinner. And just on LeBron, how long do you think he will go for?
Oh, LeBron's got elite years. He has, I would say, minimum 3. And then, Father Time will finally start to catch up. And he's going to be in the league until his son, let's just pray, makes it to the NBA as well, and he wants to play with him.
Really? How old's his son?
His son is a sophomore. He just actually tore his meniscus like 2 weeks ago, but he's gonna be back in like I think 2 months. But he's talented. He's definitely gonna go Division I. I think he's like top 20 in his class. So he'll probably after high school be a one and done guy. So we're looking at like 3 or 4 years maybe.
What you should do is reach out to his son, get his son on the app.
I would love to, but he has millions of followers on Instagram.
Well, his son does.
Yeah, his son's his name's Bronny. His son is he came on Instagram, and I think within 3 days he had 1 million followers or something.
But the thing is, nobody of those fans has got Clava.
Exactly.
So nobody has Clava. Nobody can offer.
If LeBron, Drake, or his son Bronny gets on Clava, life's complete. I'm done.
Just ping him. You never know. He's waiting for it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you only got 1,000. So you can handpick 1,000 people.
Yep. Yeah. We're actually probably at the end of this year, we're going to have the ability for influencers to raise the amount of people they can have on their lives and lower it as well.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. AJ, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm extremely excited to see Clava. I'm going to be following you and whatnot. So I'm looking for different time zones. I'm going to get a ping when it's live, and I know I'll message you. So thank you so much. Thanks for giving up your time, and the best of luck with Clava and everything else.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate having me. Second of all, you can always use Clava to do one of these, what you're doing right now, to show the
I will do.
Transparency and
I will. I have to. So I look forward to being part of that beta team.
Let me know when this is out. I'm more than happy to share it.
You're a gentleman. Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for tuning into My Perfect Failure. You can find me at www.myperfectfailure.com, and please look out for future episodes of My Perfect Failure. So take care for now. Bye.
Thanks for listening to My Perfect Failure podcast. Be sure to visit www.myperfectfailure.com to join the conversation. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google Play. Look out for our next episode.